What's up, everybody? This is your host, Izzy, right here on the Built in Buffalo channel on YouTube, X, and Facebook. We are here live to talk about the hard knock life that is training camp with the Buffalo Bills. And we're going to talk about that preseason game yesterday, too. So buckle up, strap in. We got a nice little show for you guys. Let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? I'm Izzy, as we already talked about. It's my birthday, everybody. Let's go. Anyways, the Buffalo Bills, hard knocks, training camp, first preseason game of the year. And yeah, we're here to talk about all that stuff, man. Who did good, who did bad, what's everything's looking like. And man, as you saw my thumbnail, training camp highlighted, or training camp with the Buffalo Bills, hard knocks, highlighted a lot of our favorite players. Players who've been here, players who shine, players who have come back. And yeah, this is good. Our boy Josh Allen, of course, the star that he is in training camp and on Hard Knocks, did not play in the preseason game, but Josh Allen, the superstar that he is, talking about his life, his new wife, his maturity, how he's growing up and being a better player in our, purview of how he does his thing. And I got to say, I'm happy that Josh Allen is on our team, man. That guy is a dog, but he's also like one of the nicest people you see off the field. He embraces the fans, those fans who are children, those fans who are, very receptive with him, those fans who are disabled. Like, he's just got such a good relationship with the crowd at training camp that he just giving away tickets to, a guy who he met who is handicapped clearly, but man, he makes that guy's day, gives him tickets to a show. And I'm here for it. And then you watch the beginning of Hard Knocks, right? You got, Dawson Knox and DeMar Hamlin and those guys getting packed up and moving out. Deion Dawkins with his daughter and his son, and they're all getting ready to move into the dorms. And you get a bunch of the other guys, KJ Hamler, just guys who are in there showing the humanity side of it. Not just a football player, not just the business, but like the actual person, which is nice to see. You get to see those guys. A bunch of media members were visible out there. Mookie Hawkins, who I've done shows with, and I love that guy. Mike Catalan, the Buffalo Plus guys. It's a big opportunity for everybody who's there to be shown. And the Bills being, the first team on Hard Knocks, I believe, ever to not be coming off of a losing season, to not be coming into this year in turmoil with a bunch of drama, outside of the James Cook, which is probably going to be highlighted in the next episode. It was all Josh Allen. It was all Deion Dawkins. It was all Trey White. And then sprinkle in a bunch of the other guys, Max Hairston, Christian Benford's in there. Trey White going to Pittsford Farm Dairy, for the ice cream and making his own sundae. Man, it was a beautiful thing. Trey White, the comeback story that this could be is astounding. Like, he could be comeback player of the year if he goes out there and has a great year. We've talked about Matt Milano, but he didn't really get shown in the show. He doesn't say much. Neither does Christian Benford, but that CB1 just got paid, and he's got a long time to be here. I wish we saw some more Matt Milano. Hopefully this week we do, because he's looked good. He's looked really good. So I'm happy for that. It's my favorite player on the Bills since he got drafted, outside of Josh Allen. And I love me some Matt Milano. I love me some Matt Milano. And so it was nice to see all of that, right? Tre'Davious White and Christian Benford rolling together. When Max got hurt, they showed that, right? And they were talking about how scary it was, how, a knee injury for a rookie like that coming in, a guy with speed like that, how's that going to affect him later? And we learned later it's just an LCL sprain. He's going to be okay. All right. So we're happy for Maxwell Hairston. He's going to be okay. It's an LCL sprain. It's not a ACL. It's not a, tear of a PCL or anything like that. No patellar tendon. Bullet dodged. Honestly, bullet dodged. And I'm going to address some of you guys in the comments here. My man Kim Boomhauer first. Happy Sunday, Izzy. Go Bills. Let's go, baby. Sandra L. King in here. Good evening, Izzy, and my Mafia family. And she gave me a happy birthday. It is my birthday. I'm 41 today. Let's go. And Steve Noble in here. Josh is quite a package. Super competitive person at whatever he does, but also one of the most beautiful human beings in the world. It's an honor to have him in Buffalo. It is. It is. It is. And Sandra's talking about how Hard Knocks is fire. It's not a big, in the words of Gennady Golovkin, the professional boxer, I don't know if everybody knows who that is, Triple G, it wasn't a big drama show. It wasn't. It was wholesome. We saw families. We saw players. We saw coaches. We saw the general manager. We saw the coordinators. We saw all kind of plays being made, catches. They didn't really highlight a lot of the bad stuff. And I don't know if that was by request of the Bills or just how they didn't want to open the show up with anything like that. But I do appreciate the art that they put forth for us. They really showed side of the Bills that we all don't get to see that often. I mean, we get to see a little bit more of our Bills than we did in the past because they're good and because they put out a lot of media videos. Like when the snow happens and they're coming back on a flight and 900 fans are waiting at the airport for them, cheering them on as they came from a playoff win or loss. We're just out there, mafia style, cheering our boys on because we love our boys. They're our guys. They go out there and they battle for us. They are the guys who really put it on the line and show us what it's about. Trey White, being reunited with Deion Dawkins and seeing his kids, and they call him Uncle Trey. That's a personal relationship right there. When you see that those guys were all drafted in the same class, you look at it. Was it Trey White, Deion Dawkins, Matt Milano, all drafted in the 2017 class, Sean McDermott's first draft class, and those guys are still here, and they all look good right now. Seeing Deion Dawkins and his hobbies, drifting. He's got a whole drift team he owns, or drift company, or whatever you want to call it, motorsports team that he owns. Snow Motorsports is awesome. And he's out there, he puts the helmets on his kids, they get in the car with him. He's out there drifting around, doing donuts in his BMW. I mean, it's a beautiful, fatherly thing you see this guy doing with his kids. Like that's an awesome dad right there. And it's not something that you want to shy away from. You want to show the cameras. Like, this is who I am as a dad. This is my lady. These are my kids. We live in this nice house. I own a motorsports team because someone put me on drifting. Didn't know what it was when they told me about it. And then I was like, like Tokyo Drift? Like, yeah, essentially. And they do that here? Yep. And then he's in. He's in to drifting like Josh is in the golf. That's something that he probably can do with his career or after his career, start a second career in motorsports. That's awesome. That's awesome. You see Christian Benford saying a prayer for Maxwell Hairston. Maxwell comes up off the injury. He's able to walk off the field. Before he does, he's greeted by Trey White and Christian Benford, right? First overall pick, new to the squad. They're treating him like family already. Christian Benford walks over to him, throws his arm around him, says his prayer, and that made me smile quite a bit. Trey White at the dairy, trying to get people to eat the sundae, buying a number of them himself and trying to get it on the menu. That's Trey White. The Trey White Goalie Academy. You see the dairy making their dirt ice cream, which looked amazing, by the way. That's the fat boy in me coming out and talking a little bit. After the show, I will be a fat boy again and having some steak. Let's go. It's my birthday, so I get to have some steak. It was a real eye-opener as to how these things go. You see Sean McDermott talking. You see Bobby Babbage talking. There's a point where Trey White is standing there with Brandon Bean. Brandon Bean's sitting here. You look good out there, man. You look good. And then Bobby Babbage is just, yeah, yeah. We get to see how bad a potty mouth Joe Brady has, which is wild because in the media after, like the next day after the Hard Knocks aired, that Wednesday, he comes out to address the media and he goes, "Look, I have a real potty mouth, right? And you guys see it in Hard Knocks. I do my best to not do that here in front of you guys, but I cuss a lot." And I'm like, okay, we saw, we saw, and so it was good to get that inside look. The coaches, like, they really celebrate every play. But when somebody makes a play, they really celebrate every play. Makes the players feel good. That's motivation, right? That's how you motivate somebody to keep getting better. You highlight them when they're doing good. You give them a little bit of a pep talk when they're doing bad. If they really really screw up, you do what you got to do. Like when Alec Anderson had that cheap shot, McDermott came out and said, "Hey, that's a cheap shot. I sent him home. He had to go. Like, you can't stay on my field and do stuff like that." It was really refreshing to see the ins and outs of training camp, and I can't wait till Tuesday to see the next episode. I went and I got a Max account or an HBO Max account just so I could watch it. I'm probably going to cancel it after. Maybe if they got some good content, I might keep it. But I went and invested in it just because I want to see my Bills. Like, if it's my Bills, I'm watching and I want to know. Just the reality of it. Steve Noble comes in, or Bobby Hall came in with what's up is and Mafia. What's up, Bobby? Welcome back. And Steve Noble comes back in. I personally prefer Dion's hobby much more than AJ Epinessa's. Venomous or not, those big boys bite, and there is zero chance this guy would be there. Amen. Sometimes you go hunting snakes in the Everglades. Not me, because couldn't be. I'm not super terrified of snakes, but I'm scared enough to respect them. I'll tell you that. But that big boy's out there freaking wrangling snakes, just snatching them like that. I forget what YouTube channel it is, or if it's a TikTok or Instagram, but this one guy who goes out there and calls the gator swamp puppies. And look, there's a swamp puppy. Oh, who? Look, a bald python. Yoink. And I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? He just grabs the snake like it's nothing. Oh, look, a water moccasin. Yoink. I'm like, yeah, that's nuts. But I do agree. I prefer Dion's, even though if he's bitten by a boa constrictor or ball python or whatever is out there, those gigantic 20-foot snakes or 11-foot snake like he caught, he's going to get lacerated pretty good. Dion could get in a car wreck. Like, a lot more serious implications, I think, with Dion, unless there's no one with AJ and like he gets eaten by a snake, which is possible, but highly unlikely. But that's something I agree with. I'd rather be drifting than, wrangling snakes in the Everglades. That's crazy. Never thought that about AJ Epinesa. He went to Iowa. He's a big Samoan guy, so maybe I just didn't put two and two together. But yeah, that's not for me either. I'm with you there. That's not for me either. You can go wrangle snakes and leave me at the house. I'm good to go on that. I honestly think Tyrell Shavers wants to make the 53-man roster. I think everybody wants to make the 53-man roster. I think he's showing it. He's putting it together. In camp, on the field, he had that nasty ankle injury, and then the next thing you know, like a week later, maybe less, he's back in camp. He's back out there practicing with a limp, by the way. Still catching passes, doesn't drop anything, and he's a big freaking dude. Like, Tyrell Shavers is a big dude. He had 2 catches in the preseason game for 70 yards. We'll talk about a little bit more of that later. But 6'4", 211, that's a big body dude. From MTSU, like, yeah. What is that, Montana State? MTSU? I gotta look that up now. Middle Tennessee State. Okay. Middle Tennessee State. I know Montana's MT when it comes to state letters, but so Middle Tennessee State. I mean, players have come from smaller colleges, Grand Valley State. Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens went to not Middle Tennessee, Chattanooga. You got some good players come from some lower end schools, but man, Tyrell Shavers is putting on a show. He's putting on a show. See, I don't think you aren't the only one that subscribed to HBO Max for the Bills Hard Knocks series. Yeah, I don't think I am either, but I did. Support your guys. When they're out there, you support them. Man, Daniel Gary's back in the building. Hey, Izzy, how you doing? Go Bills! I love it. See, I live 45 minutes from MTSU. Okay, so you live in Tennessee or North Carolina, somewhere near there. Well, you could live anywhere because Tennessee is kind of a wide state, not really a tall one. So you could live in Kentucky or Alabama, for all I know. Um, 45 minutes though, you probably live in Tennessee, so we'll say that. But that's awesome, my man Steve Noble. But yeah, Tyrell Shavers, man, putting on a freaking show for us. If he makes the team, I'm gonna be happy for him. As of right now, he's put on more on tape than Elijah Moore, and Elijah Moore doesn't really have anything guaranteed. So I think it's possible Tyrell Shavers, if they only carry 5, could beat out Elijah Moore for that spot. Man, Steve Noble from Lynchburg, Tennessee, where Jack Daniels is made. That is a dry county. They do not sell alcohol there, but they make the hell out of it. So, yeah, buddy. But yeah, the training camp thing was dope, man. Like they did it very well. The production was excellent. The scooters were hilarious. You got Deion Dawkins with a scooter he can sit on, and you get nice wide tires on it. Everybody else had their motor scooters, but KJ Hamler had the kid scooter. We've all seen this already. We've all seen it throughout the week. And I know I'm a little late to the party talking about Hard Knocks. It's only gonna be about 15. It's already been 16 minutes, but to 30 minutes of my show, and the rest of it's gonna be the preseason game. But man, the guys are hilarious, dude. The guys are hilarious. They're having a good time. The camaraderie is high up there, and I'm very proud, of what they're doing now. My entire 18 to what 34 age seasons, the Bills were garbage. 17 years of just suck. All of a sudden, I turned 35, and these boys decided to start drafting well and picking up coaches and GMs who can actually do the job well. I'm good with it. It was always a dry county because there are not enough people that live in the county to change the prohibition laws. Oh, okay. I did not know that. I learned something today. That's cool. But yeah, it's great to see our boys out there in the public with their kids. Tre'Davious White, his wife, out there. He's running hills, talking about, if you want to compete and you want to get this job and you want to really do something, then you got to do more. You can't just do what you have to do on the practice field. He's going out there outside the St. John Fisher, running hills in uniform. Imagine being some dude on a hike with his dog or something, or like a couple with their kids and a pet maybe, and you walk across the ridge there, and all of a sudden you see Tre'Davious White running full speed in pass with his helmet on. Like, what are you like? Oh shoot! What's gonna happen? Is he gonna tackle me? Like, what is Tre'Davious White doing? And no, he's just getting more work, man. He's getting more work, and that shows me that he trusts the ankle, the Achilles. He trusts the knee. He trusts everything. He's feeling good, and that's reassuring, especially now that Maxwell Harrison's gone down with that knee injury and will be week to week and probably ready for the beginning of the season. That means that Trey White's probably going to be our week 1 starter. Like, I'm 90 to 100% on that. 99.999% chance Trey White's week 1 starter, barring anything happening to him or Maxwell Harrison having some miraculous emergence and being able to be back by the second preseason game, which is next week against the Bears in Chicago. If I believe they said that this was the last preseason game in Buffalo in Highmark Stadium, the current Ralph Wilson Highmark Stadium that we know, and that the next preseason game will be played in the new one. And to me, I'm not as sentimental as that, but I do love the fact that, they're highlighting that stuff and recording that stuff for, history, but I'm less sentimental. See, the Samuel anchor of a contract is going to cost someone a roster slot if he cannot be traded, and I seriously doubt he can be traded at his cap number. So cap number doesn't matter as much for trades. Like Epenesa's cap number, if we cut him, is like $6 million in dead cap, but if we trade him, it's only like 1.2. I'm not positive what that means for Curtis Samuels, but I'm hoping that Curtis Samuel either gets healthy and gets right, or that Curtis Samuel can be traded and will be traded, because that is not it. Let's see. Curtis Samuel contract. I mean, you never know. If he gets hurt again, they could just throw him on IR. Let's see. Managed contract. Nope. Never mind. Let's see. Over the Cap's got a good calculator for this. Ding. All right, let's see. Curtis Samuel. Sorry if it's a little slow, guys. I know. Player search. What is going on here? Fat Finger's just not doing it. Curtis Samuel, wide receiver. So if the Bills were to cut him right now, we would have $12 million in dead money, and we would lose 302 or 3 million over on the cap, right? So we'd be going under. If we trade him, then we would have $5 million in dead cap, and we would save $3.89 million. So we could trade him and save some money on the cap. So that answers that. Like, so the number itself does not affect the team as much if we trade him versus if we cut him. So he's not going to get cut by the Buffalo Bills, but he can be traded, right? If they don't want to have him, and if they're looking at possibly cutting him, somebody will give up a 5th, 6th, 7th round pick for him, and then we'll be absolved of that big old dead cap hit of $12 million. That'll put us at 5,175. Now, if we trade him post June 1, which obviously I think that's what it would be because it's currently now after post June 1, we're now into August. His dead cap would be $1.725 million, and then his savings would be $7.34 million. So we would save actually a lot more money. Hi, Miss Nance. I saw your happy birthday wish earlier. Thank you very much. And go Bills. I saw you up there just, talking ball. You know me. I do my best to say hello to you every single time. But yeah, so Curtis Samuel's contract is not an anchor contract now. If we cut him now, let me see. Cut post June 1, which is what it would be now. His dead cap would be $8.635 million, and cap savings would be $430,000. So I think a trade is where it's at. That's their business at that point. If it's a team like, say, New England, right? Let's say the Patriots want to invest in another receiver, or one of their guys gets hurt, and the Patriots want to get him, and they have a ton of cap space, and they have to use some. Right there. You send him to New England. If it's another team that's got a ton of cap space, I mean, I can look this up too. Let's see. Teams. Cap space. Here we go. Teams with the most cap space. The Patriots, the Lions, the 49ers. Let's say the Lions lose a receiver. They may need to trade for one. Curtis Samuel's out there. You throw us a 7th. I'll take a 7th. If this is who they're trying to cut, if they're trying to get rid of him, then that's what it is. I'd rather have a 7th gained, get that cap money, and then, him be somewhere else where he may be used better, if he can be used at all. So I'm with you there. That happens, but we'll see what happens. The future is what it is. I mean, he got a 6th round pick out of the Patriots for Marshall Newhouse back in the day. So, these things happen. Now, moving on to the preseason game, the Buffalo Bills played the New York Giants yesterday at 1 p.m. I was working, but I had an earbud in. The game was on my phone, and I was excited by a bunch of what happened, right? Trubisky and Mike White both look good. Not at first. They both kind of stunk up the joint with their first drive or two. Mike White, had what should have been a pick 6, but recovered well. Grab the Etch-a-Sketch, shake it all out, get all that crap off the screen. New play. And Mike White and Trubisky both 9 of 13 for Trubisky, 8 of 13 for Mike White. Trubisky, 138 yards passing. Mike White, 112. Average yard per pass for Trubisky was 10.6 yards. Mike White was 8.6 yards. Trubisky had 1 TD. Mike White had 2. But again, the pick 6 that should have been. Passer rating, Trubisky, 129.6. Mike White, 128.8. Shane Buechele went out there. He played decent too, 10 of 12 for 91 yards. So the QB room's looking good at the backup spot. I'm okay completely with any of these guys. If they were to cut Trubisky and save money, That would be a serious conversation I have to have with Josh because that's Josh's boy. And if they were to cut Mike White and save what he saves him, which I think is around $1 million, throw him on the practice squad. I don't see a way Shane Buechele makes it to the practice squad unless they choose to cut Trubisky and keep Mike White. Another thing they could possibly do is if someone's looking for a backup and Trubisky looking as good as he is in the preseason right now, Trubisky could theoretically be traded as well. He could be a trade chip. And so if he is traded, let's say a team loses their starting quarterback and they're like, well, Trubisky's out there. The Bills got him. Let's see what happens if the Bills were to trade him away. The Bills would save $2.5 million with a dead cap of $750,000. And if they were to cut him, they would have a dead cap of $1.75 million, cap savings of 1.5. So again, they save more trading him. Who do you think will be QB2? I think it's going to be Mitchell Trubisky. I think that that's Josh Allen's guy. So that's one thing already. I think B, he's playing well. And he was with the starters yesterday, and he looked good. Stepped up in the pocket, didn't show any fear, launched a nice one to Terrell Shavers down the field where if he put it a little bit more in front of him, probably a touchdown. But overall, he looked good. I mean, 9 of 13, that's a really good percentage right there. That's 9 of 12 is 75%. So that's pushing 77, 78% completion percentage. And then Mike White, probably around 73. That's a hell of a day. Granted, it is the preseason, so we got to measure it with, whatever, grain of salt you want to take it with. But I think that QB2 is going to be Mitchell Trubisky. That's my opinion. I think with all the factors that be, not just the money, but with the fact that he is playing well, he does have the most NFL experience. Athletically, he's closer to Josh than Mike White is, so you don't have to change your way of game planning as much. We are more of a run-heavy offense, and he can run. He can move. So with all that being said, I think that Mitchell Trubisky will be our backup quarterback. I mean, he went out there and he had a nice day. If you're looking at the Giants side of it, like Jackson Dart went out there, he had a solid day too. For a rookie who's raw and like his first pass in training camp was an interception, and people were talking about he's already a bust. Look, pump the brakes, right? And I'm going to pump the brakes on me too here. Jackson Dart looked pretty damn good. I got to give him credit. Russell Wilson out there, he played a drive, 6 of 7 for 28 yards. Russell Wilson played well. He showed why he's a starter. Only missed one pass, and it was a pass that was batted by Ed Oliver, who's looking amazing next to Bosa, by the way. Like it's crazy how if you give Ed Oliver a beast next to him, and if they double team Ed Oliver, then you're leaving Bosa one-on-one. Or if you double team Bosa, you're leaving Ed Oliver one-on-one. The problems that could really produce. Yeah. I'm pretty excited. The Buffalo Bills defense, and I've seen some guys on Facebook already talking and on social media in general talking about the Bills preseason game. They still can't stop people on third down. Like, it's the preseason game. Relax. The game plan is to highlight the players' abilities. It's not for the total result of the game. Granted, you do hope to win the game, but who cares? The year the Lions went 0-16, they were 4-0 in the preseason. No one cared. They looked amazing in the preseason. And then they got to the regular season and got their ass handed to them week by week. So take everything with a grain of salt. Buffalo Bills, they had a game where they lost the game, but they had players that we were really eyeing having a good game. Look at Tre'Davious White. He had an okay game, right? I don't know how much they game plan for this because you don't know who the Giants are, right? But week to week, the Bills are going to be game planning against opponents. You get Trey White out there in man coverage. That's not really his shtick. He's a zone cover corner. He's not a press man guy. He is actually the exact opposite of Kyer Elam, who looks pretty decent in Dallas, by the way. At least in camp he does. But Tre'Davious White is the polar opposite player. Kyer Elam is a 4.3 40 guy. Tre'Davious White's almost a 4.5 40 guy. Kyer Elam is a press man cover corner who's playing in a zone scheme. Tre'Davious White is a zone cover corner who in man-to-man coverage isn't the greatest. He never has been. In his all-pro year, he was fairly good man-to-man. It was fair. He wasn't great. He wasn't, someone to really watch out for in that, but he did his job. Tre'Davious White had a solid day. He tackled well, and so that for me is a big deal. Tre'Davious White, 3 solo tackles, 3 total tackles. So he didn't tackle with help. He was out there tackling on his own. Tre'Davious White balling out, doing his thing. Freaking who else had a good day? Joe Andreessen looked good out there today or yesterday. Matt Milano looked like Matt Milano. Like he looked like the old Matt Milano. Is he as fast? I'm not sure. We'll find out when they're playing. But yeah, man, Matt Milano looks good. I'm loving it. I'm hoping that if he stays healthy the whole year, that we can find a way to keep him, even though Dorian Williams is on the team. Matt Milano is a dog in coverage. And I prefer for Dorian Williams to be the strong side linebacker who can rush the passer, make tackles, help set the edge. That would be beautiful for me. So next year, the Bills owe Matt Milano is a dead cap of $11 million, so I don't know if he'll be back. But, yeah, they could theoretically extend him and turn that void money into something better, or he could go somewhere else and get paid more. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but I love me some Matt Milano. Man, Joey Hatch in the building. Go Bills. Happy birthday, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate the birthday wishes, guys. Rookies on the D-line, Sanders and Deion Walker did the best. They did outstanding. They were outstanding. Deion Walker, look, I damn near came out my shoes when the Bills drafted him in the 4th round. I was like, stay away from that guy. Like, I was not impressed with his year in college. And the first thing he does is blow up 2 offensive linemen in this game and make a beeline for the quarterback. And I'm like, oh, snap, this guy might be a problem. The back's all healed up. He might be a problem, especially in situational pass rushing. He reminds me of a younger Jordan Phillips, but with some run stopping ability. Right? Jordan Phillips was terrible against the run. He sucked against the run, but against the pass, like that, he had a 9.5 sack season for us. For a defensive tackle, that is crazy. But he did. He had a 9.5 sack season. He got a contract the very next year to Arizona for $30 million for 3 years. I think that Deion Walker could potentially do that. It's a big guy. He's really big. He's 6'7", 331 pounds. Twisted steel and sex appeal, just a monster of a man. And TJ Sanders, man, he is a penetrator. He can just make moves and get through traffic and really move upfield to get to the quarterback. And from what I remember, against the run, solid. So very happy with that. I mean, Steve Noble, Hancock looked great. Hancock was excellent. Yeah, he did look good. This might be, the second best draft class of Brandon Beane's time here in Buffalo. Like, this could be the second best draft class that he's had in Buffalo. The best one, obviously, Josh Allen, Tremaine Edmonds, Dawson Knox, Taron Johnson. Like, that was a masterclass at managing a team's roster. This might be the next one, dude. I mean, the one where we had Khalil Shakir, Christian Benford, Kyrie Elam, which he didn't pan out, but Osiris Torrance, like those guys did. Like, we have a lot of guys who panned out from that draft class. This draft class, if Hairston pans out, TJ Sanders pans out. If TJ Sanders pans out, Maxwell Harrison pans out, Deion Walker pans out, then you got Landon Jackson, if he can get better, because he's really raw. I mean, it's obvious right now. He's not looking the greatest, but again, very raw. Jordan Hancock looking good. You then look at Jackson Hawes, who had a couple drops in this game, but again, he's here to be a blocking tight end. Dorian Strong looks solid. Like, yeah, I'm pretty pumped up. Shavers is making a case for having 6 wide receivers. He has secured the wide receiver 6 position. He might secure the wide receiver 5 position, dude. Talked about this a little earlier in the show already, but he might lock down wide receiver 5. He looks that good. I don't know if the Bills are going to want to part ways with freaking what's his name? Elijah Moore, but already mentioned, Curtis Samuel is a guy who could potentially be traded, and if he's traded, we save a bunch of money. Right now, Elijah Moore, if we cut him, we save $250,000 or $2.5 million with zero, or excuse me, no, we save nothing. Yeah, we cut him. He just gets paid his money. But if we trade him, oh shoot, so Elijah Moore might be another guy hard to get rid of. See, Couch had a good game. Couch did have a good game. Taron Johnson gets injured because he plays too hard. He does play very hard, and I appreciate that. But like, it's a preseason, dude. Like, relax. See, Buffalo Joe balled out. Should have caught that INT though. He should have caught the INT. He did play very well. He read the offense very well. He put deep players on defense in the right spots. But sometimes people fail. Whew. Why am I yawning? Lord have mercy. See, Cam Lewis looked great. Yep. See, I don't think anyone's going to trade for Samuels with his contract. We probably have to give up something to get rid of Samuel. Look, if we give up Samuel and a 7th for a 6th, cool. Because his contract isn't really worth as much as you think in a trade. Like, we went over this already. Curtis Samuel's contract, if the Bills trade him, is $7.34 million. Then he has that last year on the contract at $8 million. But they wouldn't be responsible for that money, right? The Bills would eat all the dead cap money, which is 1.725 this year and 1.725 next year. The void year will also fall on the Bills. So there's that. The Bills would be pretty fine if they traded him. They would just have $1.725 million in dead cap for 3 straight years. So he's very tradable. He's very tradable. Hey, Head Charger, are you a Roslin fan? Roslin, you got to be more specific, boss. I'm not sure who that is. If you're talking about Ruslan, he's a Christian guy. I do enjoy some of his content, but wrestling. Golly, man. Yes, I'm a wrestling fan. I love wrestling. I was actually watching SmackDown because I don't ever really watch it live, right? 'Cause I got stuff to do, right? So I'll have it on Peacock or USA or Netflix, and I'll usually watch it later. I'm a big wrestling fan. Love what they're doing with John Cena now. He went heel for a little while. Now he's back to being a babyface. Cody Rhodes still has some stuff to prove to me. I love that Roman Reigns is back. Love that Brock Lesnar's back. That's dope. Like, we got some stars. But yeah, I'm a big wrestling fan. You said wrestling like that. I was like, hang on, what? What is? And the funny thing is when I was a kid, I wrestled, right, in high school for Gates Chala High School in Rochester. Go Spartans. And there was a website, it's still up, I believe, called armdrag.com, and it tracks the high school wrestling statistics for the state of New York. And my name is on that website. If you go back to the 2001, 2002 wrestling seasons, and they go, the best damn wrestling site. Like, that's one of their quotes on there. So I don't know how I didn't pick that up. That's crazy. We would need to give up Samuel and a 6th for a 7th. I don't think we would. His contract is very, very, very tradable. It's very tradable. And if you get a team out there who needs a receiver, like Detroit, if someone goes down and they need somebody to be a slot guy, like if Amon-Ra St. Brown gets hurt again, or if he's not ready by the regular season. I remember he got hurt last year, but I'm pretty sure he's already ready and cleared. But I don't think that, his contract is untradeable at all. And I see you here saying the team won't want that contract. The team will only be on the hook for $7.34 million and $8 million, none of which would be guaranteed. So they'd be on the hook for $15.34 million, at which point they could cut him at any point in time and be on the hook for nothing. So his contract is very tradable. You got 2 years of him for $15 million. There's nothing about that contract that says no, because you can just cut him. You wouldn't be locked in at all. Christian Wilkerson is sneaky good as well and can play special teams. He would be on my 53 with Shavers and not Samuel. Christian Wilkerson had that nasty one-handed catch that he stepped out of bounds on, but man, oh man, if he caught that dude, And look, he's a guy doing whatever he can, to make this team. That pumps me the hell up. Like when you got a guy who is brought in here off the street after everybody else is let go, or everybody else has already been signed. Like the Bills roster, we have an idea who our 53 is, but there's still some wiggle room here for a guy like that who's a veteran. He's been around for a little while, and to just say, I need to do something, right? Because my career is on the line. I was teetering on the edge of nothingness. He has come in and just done an outstanding job. He has come in and done an outstanding job, and I'm very happy with the way he looks. He was with the Patriots, looks like last year. He is 28 years old. He is on a contract right now with the Bills where if we cut him, zero dead cap, and he's under contract for $1.1 million. What a steal that would be if this guy gets here, kills, makes the roster, and man, that's crazy. See, that Twisted Steel and sex appeal comment gave you away. No. So the Twisted Steel and sex appeal was my drill sergeant, man. So I had a drill sergeant. His name was Drill Sergeant Moore when I was in AIT in Redzone, Arsenal, Alabama, and he was also a big wrestling fan. So this might be still a dead giveaway. You might be totally on it, but I didn't get it from wrestling. But the fact that he would come out there and he'd be like, "Hey, privates, I am your instructor, Drill Sergeant Moore, and if you do not do your job, I will smoke the dog shit out of you. You will do the hallway," as he called them, Mo-Olympics, because he was Drill Sergeant Moore. And so if you were getting smoked, you were getting your ass dusted up, he would send you down the hallways doing bear crawls and crab walks and T-bones. If you don't know what that is, you basically crawl up to each door, you turn towards the door doing a crab walk, and then you would, with your feet, do "I love T-bone, T-bone loves me." Like all kind of crazy exercises, gator walks, and his last thing would be like, "And if you got a problem with that, we can go ahead into the sand pit, square up, and I will show you why I'm 185 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal." That was his thing. So he was a big WWE guy. I found that out later because I was on CQ in one building, he was on CQ in another building. He was in the main building, and I was told by the sergeant in that building to, "Hey, go inform another guy that we got a soldier who appears to be drinking when they were underage." And so I had to go over there and report. And he had, it was a VHS tape of Royal Rumble 1992 where Shawn Michaels won. Yeah, he was dyed in the wool wrestling fan. So yeah, it's awesome time, dude. The Army was great. See, we need to trade Carter. You talking about Dwayne Carter? I don't know if they're doing that, man. We'll see. I haven't seen much out of him either, so I'm with you on this. If they traded him, I don't know if I'd bat an eye, but I also don't know what they're looking at there. See, Moore is getting a lot of criticism. Trubisky missed him on a huge play that Josh would not have. Trubisky took the underneath to Kincaid, but had a possible TD to Moore. Hey, it's still week one, baby. They still have 3 more weeks of training camp in Buffalo, 2 more preseason games to make their case. I'm not saying that he's going to get cut or traded or anything like that. I like Elijah Moore. I'm hoping that he proves something. But Curtis Samuel is really the target of my frustration with the injuries. Like I like what he brings to the game. Like if you have a healthy Curtis Samuel, if he's healthy, 100% good to go, no problems, no fear of him, returning to the injury list, I'm perfectly fine with Curtis Samuel. However, that has not been the case. Getting real bad Von Miller vibes out of this right here, where he's injured and just having problems. This right here is where I would say Curtis Samuel gets traded. Even if you have to give up a pick to get rid of him, you give up a 7th and you basically trade him and a 7th for a 7th. It is what it is. But better than cutting him, because cutting him is a huge dead cap hit. It's just a huge dead cap hit. And so, yeah, Curtis Samuel is the one that scares me. Elijah Moore, I think with Josh, has looked outstanding. So I'm not concerned with that at all. So I'm with you here, Steve. I'm not sure. I didn't get to watch the game. Right. I had, like I said, I had an earbud in. I was working, so I was listening to the game. I've seen highlights, but in the highlights, you don't get to see where people miss. You get to see where they get destroyed or where they throw an interception. But if they flat out just miss and it's incompletion, that's not really in the highlights like that. Unless, again, it was a good play by somebody else. Like when Russell Wilson had his one incompletion and Ed Oliver was the one who batted the ball away. That is something where you'd see that. But I didn't get to see that either one of those plays. So I'm hoping that we see Josh next preseason game, because that's the next one is usually the one where you have starters go. But if not, then I hope they weight practice more than they do preseason games when it comes to the wide receivers. But Tyrell Shavers, man, is outstanding. He's been outstanding in practice and in preseason. He deserves a 53-man roster spot. So, yeah, that's why I called you a hard charger, because I thought you were Marine. We had a smoke pit outside in our barracks as well as a quarterdeck where we'd get smoked inside of Paris Island. So I was Army. I was not Marines, but I was Army right before they got stupid soft, right? They were getting a little soft when I got there, but they still had the shark attack where they come out there and freaking dust you up. They when you come off the bus at basic training, they basically divided you into your MOS or your job. I don't know. Everybody else might not know what that means. I'm pretty sure you do. And then they would, dust you up if you didn't know where you belonged. Like, they were like, we just told you where your MOS belongs. We're like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, get over here in the sand pit. And they dust your ass off. The Army gotten pretty soft, but it looks like that's going to change. Our soldiers need to be tough. They need to be, pardon my French, pussified. So just where I'm at with that. So yeah, I've been a smart mark too since Hulkamania established in '84. R.I.P. R.I.P. Hulk Hogan. I'm a big Hogan fan. I was born in '84, so I started watching wrestling around the age of 2-3 years old. My dad was really big into it. We even listened to the pay-per-views on our cable connection, because we had the old cable boxes where they had like a digital number on it, and you change the channel. It was like 1 through 60 or whatever, but like channel 2 was like pay-per-view. But if you didn't pay for the pay-per-view, you could hear it, but it was all squiggly and messed up. Yeah, I've been listening to and watching Hulkamania since forever. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and The Undertaker are my 2 favorite wrestlers of all time. You can at me with that. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, my 2 favorite wrestlers of all time. Let's go. See, another year of this defense not being able to stop third and a mile. I don't think so. This is a preseason game, man. They're not measuring, that type of success with this. They're trying to get the best out of the players that they can. Granted, I'm not trying to say that the result isn't something that matters, but the result is something that is, how you say, something we're paying attention to. But I don't know if that's the case yet. I'm not willing to die on that hill with you. You may, but I'm not. Also, our starting safeties were not out there, so there's that too. Freaking DeMar Hamlin completely blew an assignment, and Dane Jackson got burnt by receiver charging down the sideline, getting to the end zone. It's crazy, by the way. Disgusted. My wide receiver room today: Shakir Coleman, Palmer, Moore, Shavers, and Wilkerson. I like that receiver room. I really like that receiver room. That I couldn't say that better myself. That's perfect. See, I'm on that hill until the Bills prove me otherwise. Hey, I respect it. If you're on that hill, you're on that hill. I'm gonna watch you die on that hill. That's your hill. Now, looking at the team here overall, Frank Gore Jr. had 5 catches in that game for 50 yards, right? And this is what I'm saying. Not all the stats are worth paying attention to, but that one right there, I think, is. Frank Gore is proving he's not only just a runner, he can actually receive. He can catch. He had a catch of 19 or a reception of 19 yards. He had 5 targets. He caught all 5 balls, right? There was not a missed target to Frank Gore Jr. in this game. KJ Hamler, he had the 1 catch. He only was targeted once, 39 yards and a touchdown. Beautiful ball by Mike White. What was it? Steve Gosnell, 4 of 4 for 30. That right there tells me he's a good slot possession receiver, a Beasley-ish type guy. He's not Beasley size, obviously. Beasley's like 5'8", 165. But Beasley was a damn dog. This guy's 6'2", 198. Like, he's not a small receiver. Joshua Palmer, 3 targets, 2 catches, 21 yards. Like, he only saw like 1 drive. Wilkerson, 2 targets, 1 catch for 20 yards. If he catches that other ball, gets that other foot inbounds, man, his day looks so much better. It just looks so much better. Deion Kane, who was a darling this past week, didn't really do much. Laviska Shenault had that touchdown catch, or not touchdown catch, a 2-point conversion catch. You look at his kick return skills were pretty good. I liked what I saw out of Laviska Shenault. I really did. Let me see. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna grab a water. Oh, never mind. Still got some juice. Watermelon. Let's go. Let's see what you guys got. See, results can be fixed. Only one game. Agreed. And it's a preseason game as results. I think that they're looking for other things than just what what the players' results are. Granted, I do think they're paying attention to third down. So that's why I'm saying I respect him being on that hill, because it's a thing, right? It's a monkey we got to get off our back. But I'm not willing to die on that hill with him. Bosa showed me a lot. He is elite and needs to be in bubble wrap the rest of the preseason. I agree. He needs no more preseason action, baby. Sit Bosa down. Thank you, Joey. You did a good job. We want to see what Landon Jackson can do. We want to see what AJ Epinesa can do. We want to see sit Gru's ass down too. Let it be the AJ Epinesa, the Michael Hoyt, the freaking Javon Solomon and Landon Jackson show. Let those guys go out there and get the reps. They need them. Group, he don't need the reps, right? Joey Bosa doesn't need the reps. They're good. So keep those guys, under bubble wrap. I got to see something real quick. Let me see. Okay. I was trying to see if my microphone was responding to my dog who's downstairs and locked out of this room because they tend to bark, as you guys would know because you guys are here all the time. Let's see. Frank Gore and Ty Johnson were the RBs of the game. They were. Ray Davis, though, had that nice, field goal or extra point or whatever it was. That was nice. Good for him. The Hamler was just blown coverage. It was just blown coverage, but that happens all the time. Right? Hamlin's bread and butter is tackling. He's a very good tackler. One-on-one, solo tackler, Damar Hamlin can do it. He is a liability in coverage, though. And I like the guy, right? If you need a safety to come in as a backup, Hamlin's fine. Starting, I'm over it, right? The third downs were abysmal last year. Why? He's part of that reason. He'd give up the catch and he'd make the tackle by himself from behind, and that to me is unacceptable from a starter. So, yeah, I'm over that. See, who was the center that crazy fumbled the snap? I don't know. I didn't get to watch the game. I'm sorry. I wish I did. I should be able to watch this next. I will be able to watch this next one. It's my 3-day weekend, and it's on Sunday. So next week I will be able to watch the game, and so I will have more information. But in the comments, if you guys remember the center who botched the snap, put it in the comments. See, Bear was the center. Not sure. Okay, they already did. Deion Kane missed a TD catch. Yeah. Hoyt had a game, probably the best player on defense in the game. I don't know about that, but he was definitely good. If you're talking about after the starters came out, yeah, he was outstanding. Too bad we have to wait till week 6 for him. But again, that gives us a guy who is in bubble wrap, as you described, who can come in later on, fresh legs. I like it. Really, after 7 weeks, because our bye is week 7, right? So he gets to come back with a team 14 days before week 6, right? And then after week 6, because he can't play in week 6, after week 6, we have a bye. So that's another week of practice there. And then another week of practice before the next game. So, yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say that the suspension is a blessing in disguise, but it doesn't have to be all bad. See, Milano is looking like all-pro Milano. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I love it. My dog. Matt Milano. Look, if Matt Milano was a pro wrestler, he'd be Braun Breaker, dude. He'd be Braun Breaker. He's piss and fire, speed, contact. Yes. And he's got coverage skills. My man. My man. How about Baby Ray kicking an extra point? Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Joey said first preseason game in 6 years, which is wild, by the way, but he's been so good before the injuries, and then 3 years of injuries. Yeah, I can see why. Like they were bubble wrapping him too. Not here. He's fully healthy. So being that you're only going to play him a little bit, and then in the regular season, he's probably going to see 40 to 60% of all snaps because you have a huge rotation at defensive end. I'm happy with it. He looks good. See, no Hamler, not Hamlin. Oh. So the Hamlin one was blown coverage, but still, he did it. Could have dropped it. Yeah, Jacob Bayer was the center. Jacob Bayer. Okay. Well, instead of helping prevent heart attacks, he almost caused one. So do what you will with that. See, Hoyt can start practicing week 4. Oh. Yeah. 14 days, 2 weeks. So week 6 is the last game of his suspension. He can start training 14 days prior. Before that, week 5. Before that, week 4. Yeah, my math is right. What time is the game against Chicago? 8 p.m. Okay, so you guys are answering each other's questions. I like that. Man, this game was outstanding, though. It was outstanding from the highlights I saw, from what I was hearing. Like I'm in customers' houses, working on networks and cameras and stuff, and I'm almost like, look here. I'm taking sneak peeks at the game, but man, it was a good game, guys. A lot of things I'm excited about. A few things I'm concerned about. Taron Johnson's injury is one of them, but outside of that, they showed a lot of promise, especially for guys who are, trying to make this team. In this game, I saw a lot of guys I think that should make the team, and that people have been talking about for a little while. And yeah, I'm happy with it. You guys, that's my show. Next week, it'll probably be a pregame show then for the preseason game. But hey, I'm here for it. So you know what it is. It's Go Bills. And I love you guys. Unless I go on after the show. I might do that. I might do the Redzone report after the game. Might be a very late night post game show. Maybe I do both. Ooh. Guys, I love you guys. Hang on one sec. I see so much Milano and Andreessen. I like it. I see some of that too. The coverage skills, especially. Both sidelines on ball hawks. Yep, I see that. See if Andreessen can get the coverage part down, he can give Bernard a run for his money. I would see him replacing Milano rather than Bernard. But guys, it's Go Bills. It is my birthday. Thank you guys all for the birthday wishes. God bless. Thank you for being here. Spin, Steve, John, Sandra, freaking Buff Daddy. There's a lot of YouTube comments in here. Going back and looking. But guys, thank you so much for being here. You guys are the greatest, and I love all of you guys. I hope that you guys have a good rest of your day. Go Bills, and hell yeah, God bless. Signing out.